And so, of course, a searcher, he knows how to handle that. But maybe what you don't know is he's also an excellent pizza maker. So that's his coming career, maybe. Or maybe it's you can learn from that. Who knows? We will see in this presentation. Welcome.
Thanks. So, how to use AI for smarter searching and focusing. 1 month ago, I went to a presentation about AI in general. How can you use AI to improve how you work? It was an administration tool. How can you improve your productivity? How can you improve everything? And he ended up by saying, the AI will do the boring stuff and you can do the fun stuff. And I started reflecting, but the searching is actually the fun stuff for me and my colleagues. So we have a little bit of a challenge there. Then I stumbled into something on LinkedIn. It seems like there are other people reflecting on this. Is AI supporting us or taking away parts that we think are really fun, even though other people would think they are dull? We love them. My 14-year-old daughter told me 1.5 weeks ago, she was like, I hate AI. It's like, wow, okay, that's strong words from you. How come? AI makes people stupid and lazy. Like, wow, you really have to elaborate on this. So she said, my friends, even the most simple tasks, instead of trying to read, they just type in something in ChatGPT and get the reply. So her reflection of this is, AI makes people stupid. And I was like, okay, I'm trying to be a reasonable adult here. How can I change her mind? Look, AI is here to stay. So there's no way we can change how things are moving forward. That's from dawn of civilization. Things move forward, just accept it. However, don't just accept it. Try to use it as a tool. You don't have to take the most simple tasks, but you can try to use AI as a tool to support you. And she was listening and saying, and I was thinking, yeah, I convinced her. And then she said, I still hate AI. My reflections, I have no idea how to get the dots together. I hope AI can connect the dots together. I represent Uppdragshuset. We are a search firm. I think most of you here know about us. We have been working with searches for more than 20 years. We are focused on, let's say, we have two pillars. One is doing high quality searches, which is based on an extremely high level of competency from my colleagues, because they do the searches. I just do the talking. And the second pillar is being time, let's say, saving time for the clients. And for that, we always focus on how can we make the reporting, the results, as condensed as possible, provide a minimum amount of document so you can save time. And I said enough commercials, now let's go. There's one aspect, Sebastian did it. He digged into the tooling landscape. Good luck with that. And you saw that he needed more than 50 people supporting him. Since I'm alone, I thought I would take a different approach. Thank you, Sebastian, for making my point here. Before we start, because there will be a lot about Gen AI, this is something that I think everyone should have as a starting note. I think you're aware of it, but it's important to keep getting aware of it. So, if I would have stood here 1 year ago, I would probably just talked about how can we make the search better. I should stop walking around here. Okay, how to make this search better, just focusing on that part. However, Gen AI, as I have learned from the other speakers, We say Gen AI nowadays, not generative AI. Gen AI has changed the ball game, and we've realized is not the search part only. It's the whole search process that has been started to change. And there you can start looking at what kind of tools can you use to support you in different parts of the search process. This is our search methodology or process. Step 1, read and understand the search scope. It could be an invention, it could be freedom to operate, validate search, anything. That's the search first part. The second part is when we have understood the search scope, we start with a bullseye search. This was introduced like somewhere between 5 and 7 years ago when we started using semantic searches. Then we start with a semantic search giving us an amount of searches, an amount of hits, and then we do a really narrow Boolean search. So you get a human and AI at the same time. That was our thoughts there. The third part is the iterative search, and this is the largest part of the search, and this is where you have all the creativity from my colleagues coming out, blooming out. They really love it because every search is different. It depends on what happens during the search, because if you get a really, really good document, then all of a sudden you just dump everything and go for citing. If you get a really good CPC class, you could go for the CPC class, or you just continue as you usually do. Depending on what happens during the search, it can create different search loops. And naturally, it is an iterative search because we learn by searching. And finally, we have reporting. The yellow in between, which states follow-up, it's because we work usually in a team of 2 on the searches. However, with the new tools coming up, I would probably change that name to sanity check, because the more tools you use, you would probably have to have a sanity check for hallucinations. So let's start with the first part. So defining search scope, there we see that Gen AI will be something that can support us. The more it is trained, the more it can support us. What we have seen, we have looked at different tools, anything from, let's say, you can download them, or you can work on the internet. Actually, not using inventions, using more made-up inventions, just to see how they work. The more you train them, and that's probably where we will see more and more tools coming up. The more you train them, the more it will be easier to prompt. You will prompt a question, you will prompt your invention, and then based on that, there will be a summary. There will probably be keywords coming up, assignees, interesting assignees, trends for the last 5-10 years. So you get an overview by just giving an invention disclosure. However, this needs to be a closed environment because it's still secure. It has to be secure for the sake of the inventions we're handling. And what we have seen so far is that it's the prompting skills. It's a little bit challenging. It will take time. We are used to doing searches. We have been doing searches for so many years, but this is a complete different way of working. It would be like saying, okay, you go from tennis to badminton. It's similar. Okay, it's a racket, it's a plane, a net, but it's a different ball game. And we are used to giving a search, and the result is provided a user interface that is adapted to us. That's not the case with the tools we have now, we are seeing out there. So you have to provide a prompting that you tell, what do I want to do, and how do I want you to present it? That could take some time to train. If you wanted to provide, let's say, if you have a Llama or ChatGPT, doesn't matter which, if you want them to provide you with pattern classification, then you need to provide them with information. Just saying pattern classification, vague. What kind of pattern classification? It could go wrong. It could take the NIST classification and all of a sudden you have something different. If you provide upload data showing them, I would like you to provide me classifications, suggest like classifications for the CPC, and you upload them. Then you get the support. Next step, bullseye search. Here we have been working with this for a long time. We have, since we have developed IP Screener internally, this was a part for us to learn by doing. So we developed a method to do semantic searches. And the semantic searches, what they do is you provide the text. It could be anything, invention disclosure project, anything, and a search is done automatically based on an algorithm. It is a really quick way of getting started. We do this in parallel. We do a manual search in parallel. Why? Because as humans, we have seen if we have done a search, maximum 25 documents, really narrow, we have trained our brains in what we are looking for. We have already started with the highlighting, and we know how to read what's coming up. That saves a lot of time if you have done that and then take the semantic search. So it's the best out of two worlds as we see it. And then we always, if frame it with pattern classes, it's always valuable. Usually all of these tools have some kind of price tag because they have algorithms adapted for patent searches. So next step, iterative search and review. Actually, after the sanity check, I forgot that. So you do a sanity check first that your semantic search engine is really working, and then you do this. Iterative search is the largest part of the search. It's what generating most important result, and this is usually the part where we learn even more about what we are doing. So I have divided this into two different slides. First of all, I will talk about the metadata search engines. The metadata search engines are engines that have focused on using the metadata connected to a patent, because a patent we have the text naturally, but besides that, we have the classes, we have the citations, we have the signee name, how the citation, is it the X, is it Y, and so on. So we have a lot of data around it. Most metadata search engine, they use these classifications. It could be 1, 2, or even 3 rows of citations and so on, then even go back and forward. And also additionally, they even add semantic search to it. The difference for us is like a broadened citation search. The citation search is like, I'm in control. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly where these documents came from. And it's usually an amount that I can grasp them. It's anything between 20 and 100 documents. However, these tools usually provide you with a lot of documents. It could be anything from, let's say, 200 up to 6,000 documents. So you need to use them carefully. Usually what we do, we either use patent classification to add, or we just say we work with these tools and review the first 100. They add value because the weighting factors working in the background, I have no idea. I don't want to even learn because that's not where I'm going. But the weighting factors give you some results that are of interest. Also, these are subscription-based usually. And here you always need at least one good starting document. So that's probably the biggest difference between a semantic search and this. Semantic search, you have your invention. Here you need a patent document, a good patent document. And the next, which are classifiers. Classifiers are data algorithms that helps you sort out documents. And you do this, you have the algorithm, but you need to train it. You train it with good and bad documents. This has traditionally been used for landscaping. If you're doing landscaping either for really big data set or if you're doing in a repetitive manner. So you're doing a landscaping every year. So it's the same categorization, so to say, what's relevant, what's not relevant. It's also used for monitorings where you get a high amount of documents because it has to be worth the training you put into it. We have tried it out. We tried a classifier, Castell's classifier. We tried it out for novelty searches. We tried to see the relevant documents that we found, would they be in any way excluded? And we found out that they were not excluded in a novelty search. We could look at 40% less documents. And we were like, woohoo, here we have it. This is a part of the holy grail for us. We still can work, we do the creative search, but the tool is helping us to view less documents. However, the next step was to use it in real life, and there we have viewed that it is a little bit challenging because when the classifier has learned enough, then we usually have finalized the search. So it doesn't give us any added value. But we realized that for a validity search, it could be of interest. So we haven't added that to the list and we'll try it out because in a validity search, you already have a training set. You have the citations from the documents. Sometimes you have the citations from the whole family, which could be anything from 15 to 40 documents. But here, just have a look at the citations. So they are X and Y. So then you get a better training. And when you have the tool trained, then you can search broader because it will let you know which documents that are good and which documents that are bad. So you can view only the good documents. Gives you the possibility to make broader searches. Also here, subscription-based. Here you need the training data set, and it can take time. For us, the challenge is, besides the training data set, it has to work with the workflow you have with the tools and processes. And that's where the classifier doesn't work with the novelty searcher for us. So, iterative search engine, and now finally the reporting. I think here that's where, let's say, Sebastian, he took probably most of the things I was going to say here, because I think he introduced you to what tools out there can do. They can identify relevant sections. And as we see it, seen it, is that you put in inventive features or claims in features. You put them into the tool. You provide the tool with the documents that you found most relevant, and it assists you with selecting the sections that are relevant to the different features. It's a really, really good starting point. But however, you still have to review it to see, does it make sense? And then you finalize it by selecting the documents that you found. These documents were interesting. summarize these documents for you in the report. The novelty and inventive step is something probably that have to be trained. I think tools will come up that are training on this, the language models on this, so we can get automatically a view which is based on novelty and inventive step and also problem solution approach. And here it's not the pricing at the moment, it's not the subscription. The problem is the closed environments, to have tools that have the closed environments, and the prompting skills. It would have been much easier for me, instead of having the whole presentation, if there was just one tool that could rule them all. But we don't have it, so that's why we had to focus on different tools that can support different aspects of the search process. And with that, thank you. I can take questions.
Search questions? This is the time to ask them.
Speak now or not.
Yeah. Closed environment is when you talk about Gen AI, ChatGPT, when you go into Bing and make a search, or in ChatGPT in general, that's an open environment. They have different subscriptions models, so you have to have a look at them to get the right subscription, so it's a closed environment.
Hi, Joni. Fredrik here.
Ah,
Yeah.
hey, Fredrik.
I just wonder if you, like, this is a fussy question, but how many search tools would you recommend, and which criteria would those have if you, let's say, were allowed to have 2 or 3? How would you differentiate them?
Oh, that was a good question. I would say maximum 3 tools, but they have to be integrated, especially the Gen AI is providing something else to the table. So adding that to the tool set. But you need to have the integration to make all of this work well. And I think that's probably how you at Ericsson also are thinking. Thank you.
If I know you had some pain preparing presentation, so you need this now, right? Maybe you can share it a bit more.